Good morning. It's
we're doing it long.
Yeah. Good morning, Brendan. It's wonderful to have you here. Brendan Jacobs is the head of the agricultural sector of Standard Bank. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's right. Head of AgriBusiness South Africa at Standard Bank. That's
fantastic. Right. Thank you so much for joining us. And it's wonderful to have you guys here. And tell us a little bit about this event that you're sponsoring.
And are you involved with this?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, no, it's an absolute privilege for Standard Bank to be involved with the Women's Breakfast at the International Fresh Produce Association's conference, bringing a fresh perspective on women in agriculture. For us during Women's Month, this is of course a key theme, acknowledging not only all the fantastic people in the value chain, being ladies, but also our lady workers at Standard Bank that add so much value into our agribusiness teams.
Yeah,
fantastic.
So I know when you talk to farmers and growers, they talk about the bank manager. How excited is Standard Bank about this industry at the moment? Because there's a lot of positive things happening and there's also a lot of challenges.
Yeah, I think of course in our wonderful sector there will always be challenges, but we're extremely positive as Standard Bank about the prospects, some of the recent developments, and just engaging with the various stakeholders here. Everyone I think sees the opportunity in further expanding, especially if you look at accessing new markets, working together as a broader community, specifically in the export community. We've got such a beautiful story and produce as South Africa to bring to the world and global markets. And we very fortunate to play a part in the value chain there. We are a facilitator, a role player with many other role players, but we're very positive about that. We actually don't see ourselves as bankers. We see ourselves as partners to our clients, whether that's a primary producer or someone in the value chain. And so we embrace that perspective and feel privileged to play a part in that.
Oh, well, that's great. That's great.
And I think it's very important for somebody like Standard Bank to be involved in agriculture, because agriculture employs a lot of people, so it provides work for a lot of people, and specifically a lot of women in the agricultural sector. And also the agricultural sector is creating food and healthy food for people. So it's kind of win-win, and it's a good space for you guys to be in, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think we underestimate sometimes the big part that agriculture plays. Corporates such as Standard Bank, to give you an indication, roughly a third of our asset book in South Africa is an agriculture book. So we view ourselves very much as being entrenched in agriculture. And if we look at the purpose we serve, it's definitely a higher purpose of solving for unemployment, ensuring food security, and growing in the markets in which we operate. And our female contributors to that, a large component of our agribusiness team are females, and also in the industry. I mean, if you take here Jane being the lead, as a lady. I think it's just so empowering during Women's Month, and we're really privileged and look forward to creating opportunities for more and more females in our sector.
Fantastic, and it's wonderful to have you here at the International Fresh Produce Conference. So much of our stuff of our agricultural product is exported, so we really need to be engaging with the international market. So it's wonderful to see you here and for us to be hearing all the things that are happening.
And we understand you are new in this portfolio. How long have you been there?
Yeah, no, thanks. I took over from our predecessor, Nico Groenewald, in April of this year, and Nico led the Standard Bank AgriBusiness in South Africa for the past 10 years. And having worked closely with Nico in various other capacities, it's truly an honor, and I think it's 4 months into the job now, and just such a privilege to engage with all the various stakeholders, but also to play a positive part in taking agriculture in South Africa forward.
Is there any interesting things that you guys are planning for the future in terms of your department for growers, things that people can look forward to?
Yeah, I think there's, I think, as I said earlier, exploring new markets is such an important part, and we have at Standard Bank a twofold advantage, if I can say it as such. Firstly, with ICBC in China, owning a 20% stake in Standard Bank.
That's correct, yes.
We're working very closely with them in identifying ways of collaboration and opening specifically markets to our clients and call it, for a lack of a better phrase, matchmaking and facilitating new relationships between the continents. In fact, we've got our ICBC team coming out here later this month, and some of us are going over there later this year to make sure that besides matchmaking, also leveraging of best practices both in South Africa and in China. I think there's a lot of things to learn both ways.
Yes.
And then in the intra-Africa trade perspective, I mean, we represented in 20 countries across the African continent, and we have agribusiness specialist teams in most of those countries. So something that we're really focusing on is finding opportunities to not only do exports out of Africa, but I think a lot of, if you look at the statistics, a lot of trade is actually intra-Africa.
There's a lot of mouths to feed in Africa.
A lot of mouths to feed, a great opportunity. And of course, again, doing business in some of these countries in different jurisdictions is challenging sometimes. And we have the capability to provide in-country expertise to some of our South African clients, team them up with teams in the rest of the continent to provide value add and to also make it easier for them in some of those transitions and or exploring new opportunities in some of those countries. So I would say those are the two key things that we're focusing on at the moment.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really, really interesting.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much for chatting to us.
Yes.
Great,
And
thank
it's
you.
wonderful to be here and wonderful to meet you.
I'm pretty sure if we had more time, we would have had a lot more questions. But
For sure.
Unfortunately,
No, thank you very much for the opportunity and enjoy the conference.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
and the same
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you.